Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a really interesting look into the work of Chris Bailey, specifically his book, The Productivity Project.
Yeah, it's a great one. And this isn't your typical, hack your inbox kind of thing.
No, definitely not. Our mission here is really to challenge that exhausting idea that just being busy means you're getting things done, because often it doesn't.
And Bailey's approach is pretty unique because it started with this intense personal experiment. I
Yeah.
mean, this wasn't just armchair theorizing.
Right. He just graduated, had 2 job offers on the table.
Solid offers.
And he turned them both down. To spend a whole year doing these deep productivity tests on himself, called it the wish path.
Which is, kind of amazing dedication when you think about it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Especially since I think the book mentions he had like $19,000 in student debt,
Yeah.
and he still put everything on hold.
Yeah. It just shows how convinced he was that the standard advice, just work harder, longer hours, must be, well, flawed.
And we all feel that, don't we? That statistic is stark. The average person only gets about 2.5 hours of leisure time daily. We're running on fumes, but what have we actually achieved?
Exactly. That exhaustion, Bailey argues, comes from this old way of thinking, like we're still in a factory line from the time economy.
We're just showing up and putting in the hours was the main thing. That was the measure of value.
Right. How long you sat in the chair, basically.
But today it's different. The
Yeah.
value isn't just in the physical thing you made. It's in the idea behind it, the knowledge work.
Precisely. We're in a knowledge economy now. So the focus has to shift fundamentally away from hours worked towards results, output.
Working smarter, not just harder.
That's the core of it.
Mm-hmm.
And Bailey says achieving that rests on understanding and managing 3 key things, not just time, but these interconnected elements.
Okay, so the big insight. Productivity is about time, energy, and attention.
Yes. And critically, they aren't equally manageable.
Right. So let's dig into those pillars. We always focus on time, trying to cram more in, manage it better. But what's the counterintuitive part there?
Well, the big mistake is thinking we can manage time itself. Time. I mean, it just is, right? It's been ticking since the Big Bang. It's fixed.
Okay, so what can we manage?
Our energy and our attention. Those are the levers we can actually pull. And Bailey proved this with that pretty extreme experiment he did.
Yeah, the 90-hour work week test. That sounds brutal. What was he trying to find out?
He basically pitted 2 intense weeks against each other. 1 week working a crazy 90 hours.
Yeah.
The next, a much shorter but still focused 20 hours.
Assuming, I guess, that 90 hours would blow 20 hours out of the water in terms of output,
That was a logical assumption, yeah. More hours, more stuff done.
but not quite.
Not even close, really. The truly stunning thing was the 90-hour week produced only marginally more than the 20-hour week, just slightly more.
Wow. Okay, why? What happened?
Because working 90 hours completely destroyed his ability to recover. Sleep, rest, just mental downtime. It was gone.
So his energy and attention just tanked.
And completely tanked.
Yeah.
He wasn't focused for those extra 70 hours. He was just present. Kind of like a zombie, churning out low-quality work or mental sludge, as he put it.
Whereas the 20-hour week, that forced him to be absolutely ruthless with his focus.
Exactly. He had to concentrate only on the highest value stuff. Which brings us to his concept of MIT's most important tasks.
Right. Because not all work has the same impact. So how do you identify your MITs?
2 key things, according to Bailey. First, the task needs to connect with your core values. It has to feel meaningful personally.
Okay, so it matters to you.
Yeah. And second, it needs to have the biggest impact on your actual work results, what really moves the needle.
Sounds like the 80-20 rule in action. That idea that like 20% of what you do gives you 80% of your results.
Precisely. And most of us get bogged down in that other 80% of tasks that,
Yeah.
well, they don't yield much at all.
So what's a practical way to apply this, to focus on those MITs?
He suggests the free goal method. Simple, but powerful. At the start of your day, or maybe your week, just commit to identifying and completing only 3 key things.
Just 3, not a massive to-do list?
Nope, just 3. It forces that prioritization. It cuts through the overwhelm of seeing, 40 things on a list and feeling defeated before you even start.
That makes sense. It feels achievable. But, okay, even when we know our MITs, we often, we avoid them, right? Procrastination kicks in. That leads us to the next pillar.
Yes, procrastination, the arch nemesis of the MIT. And there's a clear psychology behind why we avoid these crucial tasks.
They're usually the hard ones, aren't they? The intimidating ones.
Exactly. They often feel difficult, maybe complex. They require a lot of mental energy. So naturally, we shy away. Our brain wants to conserve energy in the short term.
Ailey points out 6 specific things that make a task procrastination prone. What are those?
Yeah, he breaks it down. A task is likely to be put off if it's, number 1, dull or boring. 2, frustrating. 3, difficult. 4, vague or ambiguous. You're not even sure where to start. 5, meaningless, it doesn't connect to your values. Or 6, it lacks immediate reward. There's no quick payoff.
Right. And if a task ticks multiple boxes, like it's difficult and vague, forget about it.
You're basically guaranteed to find something else to do. And this avoidance, this struggle, it's like this internal battle Bailey calls the brain's civil war.
Ooh, tell me more about that. Civil war.
Yeah, think of it like 2 parts of your brain fighting. You've got the old instinctual limbic system, that's like the impulsive part, the toddler wanting instant gratification, let's watch Netflix.
Okay, I know that toddler well.
Right. And then you've got the more evolved prefrontal cortex. That's the logical planner, the adult thinking long term. We really need to do those tasks.
So procrastination is basically the toddler winning. The adult just gives in to get some peace and quiet.
That's a great way to put it. It's giving in to feel good temporarily, even though you know it'll cause problems later.
So the solution isn't just brute willpower, trying to force the toddler into submission?
No, that rarely works long term. The smarter strategy is to engage the adult brain, the prefrontal cortex. You do that by re-engineering the task itself, making it less appealing to the toddler.
How do you mean re-engineering?
You basically tweak the task to remove those 6 negative drivers we talked about.
Ah, okay. So if the task is write that massive scary report, which is difficult and vague, you change it.
Exactly. You might break it down. Okay, just outline the first section or work on it for just 15 minutes. Make it specific, less daunting, maybe add a small reward.
So you make it concrete, less scary. You're basically using the logical brain to trick the impulsive brain.
You got it. You turn this big, undefined monster into a small, manageable first step. That preserves your energy and attention for the actual work.
Okay, this is really insightful. Let's shift gears a bit into our reflection section. Because all this effort, or lack thereof, it doesn't just cost us time, does it? There's a psychological toll.
Oh, absolutely. A huge one. And maybe the biggest hidden cost isn't just being tired, it's mental clutter.
Mental clutter, what do you mean by that?
Well, the book reminds us our brains are incredible at generating ideas, making connections, solving problems. But they're actually pretty terrible at storing information reliably, like holding on to endless to-do lists.
Right, it's not a hard drive.
Exactly. And there's this fascinating psychological effect that explains why trying to use it like one is so draining. It's called the Zeigarnik effect.
Zeigarnik effect. What's that?
It's the tendency for our brains to remember unfinished or interrupted tasks much better than completed ones.
So all those little things buzzing around in your head, email Sarah, pick up milk, start planning that presentation, they stick around.
They stick around, and they create this low-level hum of stress. Each open loop, no matter how small, takes up mental bandwidth. It occupies your short-term memory, the very space you need for deep thinking and focus.
Wow. So maybe the reason I feel like I can't focus isn't because I have poor focus, but because my brain is busy juggling all these mental nodes.
That's a huge part of it for many people. We're using our precious attention, just trying not to forget things.
So what's the fix? How do you deal with that mental clutter?
The solution is deceptively simple but really profound. Get it out of your head. You need one trusted place, just one to capture everything.
Like a notebook or an app.
Could be either a single notebook, notes app that syncs everywhere, whatever works for you. But the key is to dump all of it there. Tasks, ideas, projects, even things you're waiting on from other people. Bailey calls those waiting lists.
Okay, so you externalize the memory function, you free up your brain.
Exactly. You relieve that constant low-grade pressure and free up your cognitive resources for your actual MITs, the important stuff.
This feels connected to why we procrastinate, too, this constant putting things off. It leads to another really deep, almost philosophical issue Bailey talks about, right? The stranger problem.
Oh, yeah. This one is genuinely mind-bending. There's fMRI research brain scans showing something remarkable.
What did they find?
When people think about their future self, you're like 10 years from now, the pattern of brain activity looks incredibly similar to when they think about a complete stranger.
Wait, seriously? My brain sees future me like I see some random celebrity.
Pretty much. Like someone you know of but don't have a real deep connection with, like
Mhm.
Taylor Swift, as you said earlier.
Wow. Okay, that explains a lot. If future me is basically a stranger, why would I do anything difficult now to help them out?
Precisely. It makes perfect sense why we dump unpleasant tasks on future you, why we delay saving money, why we overcommit their time. We're basically saying, let that stranger deal with it.
We're constantly setting up our future selves to fail, or at least be really stressed out. That's the heart of procrastination, isn't it? Making things future you's problem.
It really is. So the actionable insight here is crucial. You need to find ways to connect with, to build empathy for that future you.
How do you do that? Make friends with a stranger?
Kind of. Bailey suggests things like actually writing a letter to your future self or using visualization, really picturing the long-term benefits of doing something difficult now. Some studies even used age progression software.
Right, I remember that one. People who saw an aged photo of themselves saved more for retirement.
Twice as much, yeah.
Yep.
Because suddenly future you wasn't abstract anymore. They were real. So the goal is to bridge that gap, make future you feel less like a stranger and more like, well, you. Then you start making choices that help them, which are ultimately choices that help you.
That's powerful. Okay, let's pull this together. For someone listening, wanting to make some real changes based on this deep dive, what are the absolute must-do takeaways?
Okay, 3 big ones. First, you absolutely have to learn the power of saying no. It sounds simple, but it's maybe the most crucial productivity tool.
Saying no to what exactly?
To non-essential things, even things that seem kind of good or mildly interesting. If it's not truly essential, if it doesn't align strongly with your values or move the needle significantly on your MITs, you have to decline. Protect your time and energy fiercely.
Bailey's 90% rule comes in here, right? If it's not a 90 out of 100, it's a 0.
Basically, yeah. It's about being incredibly selective, which means saying no way more often than you say yes. It's hard, but necessary.
Okay, so master the art of no. What's the second key takeaway?
Second, deal with all that necessary but low-value stuff strategically. The admin, the emails, the tidying up, the planning.
The maintenance day idea.
Exactly. Don't let that stuff bleed into your prime, high-energy, high-focus time slots. Bundle it. Dedicate a specific block, maybe a whole day, maybe just an afternoon to clear the decks.
Get it all done at once.
Yeah. And a side benefit, it helps fight perfectionism on those low-return tasks. You just get them done quickly within that time block and move on. No endless tweaking.
Good point. Okay. No, and maintenance day. What's the third essential?
The third is actively creating space for your brain to, well, to wander, to roam. We need to build in time for boredom.
Roaming space, you mean like downtime, not actively working.
Yes, but specifically time when you're not focused on a task or staring at a screen.
Right.
Think walking, showering, maybe just staring out the window. This roaming mode is actually critical.
Why is that so important? Seems counterintuitive to productivity.
Because research shows that's when our brains make unexpected connections. It's when we solve tricky problems subconsciously, connect disparate ideas. That unfocused mode often outperforms the deliberate, analytical, central executive system for creativity and insight.
So it's not lazy time, it's essential processing time, like defragging your mental hard drive.
That's a perfect analogy. If you're constantly busy, constantly consuming information, you never give your brain the quiet time it needs to integrate, process, and generate those aha moments.
You have to intentionally schedule unscheduled time, build boredom back into your life.
You really do. That's where a lot of the magic happens.
Okay, so wrapping up, we've looked at time, energy, and attention, procrastination, connecting with future you, and these takeaways. Say no, use maintenance days, and embrace roaming space. What's the final thought we should leave listeners with? Something to really chew on?
I think building on all this, the really provocative idea is that you need to constantly audit everything you're committed to. Not just tasks, but bigger obligations.
Like what?
Your job, sure, but also maybe associations you belong to, friendships that drain you, even big possessions like a house that demands constant upkeep. Ask yourself, does this commitment truly align with my deepest values? Does it deliver a high return on my time, energy, and attention?
And if the answer is no,
The most genuinely productive thing you might do is to eliminate it. Outsource it. Step away, even if it feels difficult or costs money initially, because ultimately your time, your energy, your attention, your peace of mind, that's your most valuable asset. This is what you're holding on to worth the price you're paying.